Welcome to Jackets TV, presented by Ohio Health, and the 2014 Columbus Blue Jackets 3-on-3 tournament. I'm Jeff Rimmer along with Bill Davidge. And Bill, this has been an exciting week. We are seeing the Blue Jackets of the future, and boy, there's been no disappointments.
There really hasn't. You know, Jeff, when you go back to day one, they come in, and the reason they're here is development. And it's just not hockey. It is a little bit of everything. So these 18-year-old kids, and some of those, you know, that were back in the 91, 92 birth dates, they come in, they learn a little bit more of what it's going to be like to be a pro, and then to watch them on the ice today to finish it off in 3-on-3 should be a lot of fun.
All right, let's take a look at some of the rules that will be employed here in this 3-on-3 tournament, first ever for the Jackets, Bill.
Yeah, and you take a look, each team will play 12-minute games. Now, there are three teams. You've got Team White, Team Light Blue, and Team Navy. And the big key is, again, stop time, but the best record will meet in the championship game, and the tiebreaker, it's all dealing with offense, Jeff. They're looking to score goals on 3-on-3. No offsides, wide open hockey. Should be a lot of fun.
And again, there'll be 12-minute periods, stop time. We will have shootouts after each game. And, of course, we will have a championship game, which we'll have for you here on Jackets TV. As well, let's take a look at the teams and the participants here. 3 teams. We take a look at the white team roster there, Bill, and we're going to see the Jackets' first-round draft pick a couple of weeks ago in Philadelphia. Milano make his debut here in the Ice House.
Yep, Sonny Milano will give it an opportunity to show his skills, and I think all's been talked about with his hands and his stick work. How about on that right side? And Josh Anderson, to me, he is going to be very close to being a pretty solid pro right away coming out of London. And then Big Larkin on defense, who was a captain at Colgate, had a chance to finish the year last year in Springfield.
All right, moving on to the next team here. It is Team Blue.
Well,
light blue.
Yeah, you take a look on the left side, and again, he's very well known. Warren Reichel's son, and Kirby Reichel, Tynan in the middle. Soberg as well. Soberg just signed to play in Windsor, so again, this should be a Gandy.
And finally, it is Team Blue.
If you look at Team Blue, and again, look through the middle, and you've got, again, the number 1 pick a year ago in Wenberg. Had a great year. We'll see the skills right away.
Well, we're underway. Team Light Blue against Team White, and we get a look at young Milano here, who's really a young man that loves the game, and it takes very little time before we have the first goal.
Well, you look at Ambrose, again, come across that line. The head is up. Again, the University of Minnesota is going to be going into his senior year, showed some pretty solid hands.
Seconds in here. And we're back at center for a face-off, and young Dano, who was the third of the 3 first-round picks 2 years ago by the Jackets. Milano dropping it back to the point here. And the puck moved up ice. Larkins, a right-handed shooting defenseman who's attended a few camps here, Bill.
Yes, he has. Again, knows a little bit about what does take place. But this is a little unique in being able to have this 3-on-3 tournament. And Jeff, Billy Zito come up with the idea, and they put it into play here right now to be able to finish off this camp here this evening.
Bill Zito, one of the assistant general managers of the hockey club. Bill, just an impressive week here. These kids have worked hard and are being rewarded here with this 3-on-3 this afternoon.
Well, the one thing that they've learned throughout the course of the week, it's first of all, yes, how to be a pro. How about those hands right there? Against Sonny Milano, that's what he's all about. Gets it in tight, tries to go to that backhand, but a nice save on that cross, ice pass, and then good movement by Sonny Milano.
Puck moved into Team White's territory.
But going back again, Jeff, to the week at hand, they come in again. It's how can you become a professional hockey player? What's it going to take? The first thing, again, understanding the body and the physical aspects of it. They spend a lot of time with the training staff, with the medical staff to be able to prepare themselves accordingly. Oh, beautiful goal. Tell you what, Mike Riley. You're going to see a lot of Michael Riley as years go on. Again, University of Minnesota had a chance to spend a year at Shattuck St. Mary's, but now jumping into his junior year, very skillful on that offensive side, sees the ice well, and boy, is he growing since his first year.
Boy, I'll tell you what, hey, he certainly has and has been impressive here. He was not here for the start of camp, but made it for the second day along with his teammate at Minnesota, Collins, and that is a sweet goal.
Well, look at the hands, look at the feet, good lateral motion.
Talking to President of Hockey Operations, John Davidson, just a few minutes ago here, and he is extremely excited about the future of the hockey club. Not only have the Jackets made a breakthrough at the NHL level, but the players in the system, the players that are coming here in the future, this is going to be an impressive hockey club for years to come. And as John himself pointed out, we're getting that recognition league-wide.
Yeah, and you know what? It takes time. And Jeff, you've been here since 2004. I was here in '99 when we put this thing together, and it was kind of odd when we did have our first development camp. It was basically a handful of invites, no draft picks hardly at all, because, again, we didn't have the draft. As it's gone on, the depth has become certainly apparent, and that's how you build the organization. And, again, John's philosophy is, we can say it one more time, brick by brick, and it all starts with players like this. First-round picks all the way down through round 7.
Larkin moving up, the right-handed shooting defenseman. How many camps has he been here? I believe this is his 6th.
I believe, yes. He is one big man as well. Again, Italian-born, played for and represented the country. Let's watch this play coming in. Oh, things are getting a little bit cute right there as Marcus Soberg comes in, tries to make that tight move in tight, but to no avail, but great passing.
A decided lead here for the light blue team. They have now opened up a 3-0 lead.
That's Ryan Collins, 6'5" of him, will be a freshman at the University of Minnesota this year. Look at this play. Look at the pass back. Again, Hashimoto, Ryo Hashimoto makes that pass back door, and Collins able to finish it off.
Great story on Hashimoto, out of Japan, here paying his own expenses along with the Japanese Ice Hockey Federation, here to observe, here to learn, and boy, has he impressed.
You know what, watching his skating and you know, it's the strength that he's going to gain coming to a camp like this, and how to work and basically the pace of play. It's all dealing with skating and skills this week. Not much dealing with body checking and or anything else, but the kid has shown some great skills, and he has gotten better each and every day.
Here's Mulatto dishing off, now gets it back on that left side. A wizard with the hockey puck. I'm sure folks tuning in have seen the YouTube videos. Pretty impressive young man.
Sure is. Coming out of Long Island, was an all-time New York Islander fan. Mom and Dad had tickets to the games. He comes to Cleveland, again, as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, and comes over and plays with for Brett Harkins and the Harkins family. They were really responsible for him getting himself here to the Midwest, and then moved on to the development camp for 2 years in Ann Arbor. And, again, the rest is history. Taken this year, and he shows some great skills.
Some pretty good chemistry by Team Light Blue, for sure.
They like that net. Here comes Sonny again.
Team White trying to get on the board. They trail 3-0.
Oh, there you go.
And they are on the board there with some nifty passing by the youngsters.
Yeah, Tyler Bird out of Kimball Union. And again, this is a prep school out east. And he had a coach by the name of Tim Whitehead. Tim Whitehead was with Maine University for 12 years. And Tim spent the year working with the young Tyler Bird. And you can see right now, again, his first camp ever. This year's draft, and nice goal to be able to get the Team White on the board. Well,
we should talk a little bit about the goaltenders. All 4 goaltenders here are wearing white jerseys, and a situation where they've all been autographed, Bill, and there's a story behind those autographs.
There is. On Monday, Ronald McDonald House, and what the Jackets are part of in this community, is again paying forward, or in some cases in the game of hockey, giving back. They will take those jerseys, and on Monday, the Ronald McDonald House golf outing that'll be held at 3 different courses on Monday. Those jerseys will be part of an auction to raise money for Ronald McDonald House. So a great tribute from the Blue Jackets and the goaltenders. That's what they're wearing today.
Well, let's give the goaltenders a little love, because they're not getting very much love from the skaters here this afternoon. Forsberg and Oscar Dansk expected to be numbers 1 and 2 goaltenders for the Blue Jackets at Springfield this year, while Korpisalo and Merzlikins, Elvis, as we're going to call him, is a lot easier to say Elvis than Merzlikins. They are both headed back to Europe.
Yeah, and again, you get those 2 young players, Oscar Dansk under contract, as well as Forsberg. That's what it's all about. But how about that last play by Larkin? Beautiful goal, backside. Good hands for a big man. A lot of dignitaries in the building here this afternoon with Todd Chirac. And again, we have all the upper management. The coaches are all up on the top row, getting a chance to evaluate and also just have some fun to be able to finish off this week in style.
It's a great way to finish this tournament, and there'll be exit interviews tomorrow. John Davidson talking to us about that. They're going to give these young kids an opportunity here to find out what they think, the organization that they can work on here, and some will be back, obviously, for rookie camp up in Grand Rapids. Others might, in fact, be not only attending rookie camp, but the main camp, and, of course, nobody more so than we were looking forward to seeing here than young Wenberg, who was a first-round pick, and boy, is he a skilled young man.
Yeah, and again, he has stated he wants to make it difficult for the administration, the top dogs, to be able to make a decision whether he is going to stick with this team this year or go back and get another year under his belt at the pro level.
Alexander Wenberg expected to play, if he's not here, to play in Springfield. And we'll get a look at Team Blue here upcoming after this game comes to an end.
Another look at Seth Ambrose. Good story on Ambrose. I guess when he went to the University of Minnesota, they've been following this kid all the way through high school. And he's a very shy kid. But since that time, right now, he has started to grow into his body, a little bit more confident, and you can certainly see it in his game and his development as a collegiate player.
Great transition by these young men. And a game that right now has 4 minutes and 12 seconds left. It is 3-2 for Team Light Blue.
Tell you what, it is certainly fun to watch. Again, open hockey. Remember, there are no offsides. There'll be very little body checking, and it all boils down to the skating, the passing. You get a chance to watch the awareness on these players. And how about that move right there, coming in tight? Beautiful play right there by T.J. Tynan. And again, T.J. Tynan coming out of Notre Dame. Very, very skilled. Not very big, but he is skilled. You get him in tight. He led the CCHA in scoring his junior year, and the ability to be able to put that puck back on the forehand ends up beating the goaltender, and it finds its way through.
4-2, Team Light Blue, and what a great burst of speed displayed there. Jarmo Kekalainen, Blue Jackets general manager, will join us here at the conclusion of this game. Nice stop from point-blank range, thrown back in front. Good defensive effort there made by Czar. And the outlet pass out on that left wing for Hakkinen.
Oh, baby.
And what a shot.
Played in Jokerit last year in the Finnish League, and big smile on his face as he comes in and finds the back of the net. Good wrist shot. Head was up. They are sniping. It's a beautiful goal so far.
Hakkinen makes it a 4-3 hockey game here with 3:27 remaining. Team Light Blue led 3-0 early, but give Team White the credit. They didn't sit back, and they too have displayed some great offense.
They really have. You know what's amazing, Jeff, is looking at some of the size of some of these guys and the agility that they have. You and I had a chance to watch their skating. They had a chance to bring in a power skating coach, and Marianne Watkins, who'd been working with the Pittsburgh Penguins, had a chance to come in here and work not only with the rookies here, but also had a chance to come in and spend a couple of afternoons with some of the players.
Billy, grab the rule book. 2:50 left. Will we see the goaltender pulled for an extra attacker?
Boy, I don't know. We've got the siren going on above us, though. That's the security door. Fans trying to come in from every aspect of this building. What a crowd here today, too.
Got a great crowd this afternoon. And you can just see the fans lined up on the other side of the ice as well. Here, Milano comes in on a breakaway, baby. And what a beauty.
Oh, well, you give him a little space, and he's going to show you the rest. And for the people that are watching at home, Sonny Milano has some of the sweetest hands that you have ever seen. And you can see off of the skate, back up to the stick, and as a left-handed shot, goaltender commits. Once he does that, high up over top of that gloves or that stick side. But what a play there by Sonny.
Quickly, Team Light Blue come back. We've got a tie hockey game here now at 4.
Never over until it's over.
A little more than 2 minutes remaining.
How about the American Hockey League, Jeff? Going to adopt a 3-on-3 in their overtime period. The overtimes will be extended to 7 minutes. And part of that now with a 3-on-3.
And just looking ahead here to the future, the fact the American Hockey League, who in the past have used so many of the rules that are now employed in the National Hockey League, perhaps an opportunity down the road that after 4-on-4 overtime, we may in fact see 3-on-3 in the NHL.
Yeah, I think which we will eventually. But again, with the American Hockey League, the developmental league for the National Hockey League, you test out the rules, get an opportunity to be able to see how it works, how it comes out. That's how the shootouts had a chance to come its way. And right now you'll have some 3-on-3 and then the eventuality of 3 shooters in the American League, 3 shooters in the shootout.
A little more than a minute left. Milano going coast to coast and then rips it wide on a wrist shot. Bird defending down that right wing. Pass here on the right side. Sedlak from a sharp angle, redirected alertly by the goaltender, and off onto that far wing. Final minute in the game, tied at 4. Now, we have been told that there would be a shootout regardless of the final score. We may need that shootout here.
Well, you're right. Again, no offsides, but you can see the guy, again, just thinking about, well, we've got to stay onside. Got to do it right.
Tynan deals it to that right side. Cross, goal mouth pass. Tynan will pick it up on that far side. TJ Tynan looking to put Team Light Blue back in front.
Oh, here we go. Uh-oh.
Goaltender out, thrown in front, and there's a goal.
24.2 seconds left.
Corpusalo coming out and going. That is, my apologies, that is Merzlikins, the goaltender that came out and tried to avoid that breakaway attempt. And it's into the empty net. And a come-from-behind lead now for Team White, who lead for the first time in the game.
Still time to burn. 24.2 seconds left, and the key is on the face-off, and White smartly tries to ice the puck.
Team Blue down. Sedlak deals it in front. Cross ice feed there, and it's deflected just wide of the net. Long shot there by Reichel, redirected. And there is the horn. Team White victorious in come-from-behind fashion.
Boy, they did it right. Some beautiful goals, and 2 that stood out. Sonny Milano coming in tight and finding the back of the net high on the goaltenders. And you certainly see the skills in 3-on-3 hockey, and certainly fun to watch. Look at Billy Zito down talking to the benches right now. And Billy's saying, let's keep things going. Let's get that next game rolling as we move on. But what a good crowd here this afternoon.
Great crowd.
Beautiful weather in Columbus, sun shining, low humidity. And when you get a chance to walk into the arena and you see the crowds, and they're all here for one reason, and that, again, to watch the skill ability of all the players. As
promised, Jarmo Kekalainen, Blue Jacket General Manager, joining us. And Jarmo, your impressions of that first game. Nice come-from-behind win there.
It was fun, which is what it's supposed to be, and entertaining, I believe, too. And we saw some good individual skill and some pretty good effort. I think I lost my microphone there for a while, or at least I can't hear it. But I was good. It got competitive at the end, which is good too. I don't want it to be an all-star game type of show. I want it to be competitive too. But it's hard 3-on-3 because it gets tiring, as you could see with the guys. They were getting some heavy legs at the end, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
Your thoughts overall about the week?
Well, we've emphasized the fact to these kids that this is not about grinding them down or whipping them into shape this week. It's about learning. It's about what it takes to be a pro and what it takes to be a pro in the NHL level. So I think they've had some very interesting classes, good learning experience. I think Chris Clark has done an excellent job as our development coach throughout the year, and again with this camp, and Billy Zito has been helping them out and organizing a lot of the things. So credit goes to those guys about arranging the great experience for these guys.
Jarmo, talk about your number 1 pick this year, and Sonny Milano again shows some fantastic hands, but certainly in that case, a better save.
Elvis comes through. He's in the building today.
Yeah. Well, Sonny's got some good skill. You could see that in the game with the breakaway goal, especially. He's got some moves and quick hands, but he can also see the ice, and just got to get stronger, and we'll have a very good prospect in our hands, and a good NHL player for a long time, we hope so.
Well, Marco Dano showing the hands as well. Last year, one of the number 1 picks, and certainly a young man starting to grow into his body. He's had a pretty solid year.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's had a great summer so far too. He's taken tremendous steps in his physical development, and the test results during this week prove it. So that's exactly what we've asked him to do: is get into the next level with his strength and conditioning, and he's done everything we've asked him to do, and he's taking good steps.
Well, one big step here, spending the summer here in Columbus. I mean, what about a commitment there?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that he volunteered to do. He wanted to do it. He wanted to come here and work with our strength and conditioning coach. That's a nice big commitment from a kid who's from Slovakia and long way from home here, spending the summer here in Columbus and making sure that he's going to be ready for training camp.
Tell us a little bit about Soberg, Jarmo. Again, he comes over from overseas and looks like he's going to be able to spend the year in Windsor next year.
I think it'll be great for him. It's a great organization, the tradition for winning, good coaching staff, as we know, and he's a goal scorer, so I think they can use him. They have a big role planned for him, and I think it'll be a good step towards pro hockey here, playing 60, 70 games plus the playoffs, and it's completely different from what they're used to in Europe, although they play a little more games now there as well, but junior hockey is close to professional hockey here in North America.
What a great story here. The Blue Jackets extending an invitation here to Hashimoto, who just took his shot, coming over here at his expense and that of the Japanese Ice Hockey Federation, and he's got some skill.
Yeah, he played pretty well in that 3-on-3. He didn't look out of place at all. Well, he's 21 years old. He's played in the V pool in the Men's World Championships, and Japanese national teams have played in Nagano Olympics and never embarrassed themselves. So this guy is a good hockey player.
One more question, we'll let you go. We know you want to watch that next game here, Jarmo, and boy, you beefed up the scouting staff. Does that mean now the next step will be find a scout in Japan?
Well, I think that somewhere in the Caribbean there's supposed to be some pretty good hockey players.
You won't hire a scout for that. You'll do that yourself.
I might have to go check that myself.
Can I volunteer for that segment?
For about a long extended weekend every winter. Yeah. So I'm gonna save
like
that
December, January, and February, you'll be over there every weekend.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Jarmo, and
My
congratulations
pleasure.
on a great week.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of the summer, Jarmo.
Thanks, you too.
TJ Tynan. Boy, this kid's got some offensive ability.
He really does. I had a chance to watch him several times. I remember him coming in his first year here into camp, and the one thing that he had to work on was the skating, Jeff, and he has spent a lot of time on the skating. He's got great hands. His vision is as good as anybody in the game, and he's not a big player, and that's it's something that he has the ability to do. Is he's got the sense. He's got to be able to utilize the speed that he started to increase, and he's been working at it hard.
Here's Big Collins, who's a mountain of a man, just 18 years old, Jackets' second-round draft pick.
Yeah, going to the University of Minnesota, and the guy that had a chance to show him around was none other than Mike Riley. When he first laid foot at the University of Minnesota, again, Mike Riley playing this game here this afternoon at Columbus Blue Jackets draft, and Collins himself, a little homecoming for a couple of guys coming into the Blue Jacket camp together.
All right, we're now going to get a look at Team Blue. Team White victorious in a come-from-behind victories. You got to look at Korpisalo and Forsberg. All four goaltenders will be used for the various teams here. And we are immediately set for game number 2. And keep an eye on Alexander Wenberg. Starts on the right wing. Milano opposite. So here, how about that? Unique start. The 2 number 1 picks over the previous 2 years go head to head.
Yeah. Again, Wenberg, 6'2", shows some great hands all week. Good, smooth skater, effortless player. You see a lot of guys when they get on the ice, their edges, they are into the ice. And Wenberg's one of those guys that skates on top of it and has great sense.
Great pass there. And the shot turned aside. Team Blue looking off the goal post, and then the rebound driven home.
What a beautiful move. Again, showing great hands in tight.
Wenberg with the pass to Medeski.
Yep, Austin Medeski. And again, the move off the post, and then look at backside, bouncing puck, and into the back of the net.
Medeski coming back from a serious injury a couple of years ago in junior hockey. And he has certainly stepped up in a big way, playing in the Western Hockey League. The Jackets certainly have high hopes for him.
He is one big man.
2-on-1 break. Wenberg coming back and defending. And the pass picked off. Team Blue moves quickly up ice on that right side. Cross ice feed, and what a shot.
That is gorgeous.
Coming off the wing, Medeski.
Yeah, beautiful pass. In backside, Motry makes a good move. Sees him in open ice. Motry last year played in Saginaw, and he is another one big body. They say when he plays the game, he has to play it in the physical manner if he's going to be at all successful, but showed some pretty good skill.
LeBlanc tossing it back. Break here. Milano sends it ahead. He had that key goal to tie it up, and here with a backhand shot that's turned aside.
Well, you see Sonny Milano and how many players would just keep that on the forehand. But he is so in tune with both sides of the stick. And right there, pulls it to the backhand, gets it in tight, tries to go high. And once he gets here, right off the toe, big save.
LeBlanc taking that breakaway pass, having difficulty with it, but stepping up and knocking it home in Team Blue. Quickly storming to a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, it's Peter Quenneville. Started last year and went to Quinnipiac and played about 5 games, had some injuries, and then moved on to the WHL and played in Brandon, scored 21 goals, and put up some pretty good numbers. And I know he was very tickled to be able to come into camp here. And so far, again, good skater, works hard.
If you're wondering about that name, he is related to Joel Quenneville, the head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks, a distant relative.
Pretty good bloodlines.
3-0. We're calling it Team Navy. Dano will move it quickly into the offensive zone.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Here's a break. Nice stop there. Hetherington, boy, has he grown, and is he a mountain of a man. I tell you, Jackets
really
have got some real big size on that blue line coming through the pipeline.
Yeah, he played in the Western Hockey League last year and has a pretty good spot. In fact, in August, he's going to go to Canada Junior Camp with an opportunity of representing Canada in the World Junior Championships next year. Put up some pretty good numbers.
Dano now. A cross-ice feed thrown down that right wing. Milano skirts to the front of the net. A sharp angle shot turned aside.
We've got to get the fans involved, Jeff. A little bit more cheering going on, but they are all just in awe right now. And one of the things they're watching, again, your number 1 pick overall in Sonny Milano, a couple of goals in that first game, and certainly around that net, wants the puck. That's the thing. He's always calling for the puck, gets himself into a position to be able to find his way to the crease. Let's watch this again, in tight. Good effort, good play right there by, again, Dillian Hetherington. Swift Current. Played his junior last year, second D-man in scoring on that hockey team.
Pass to Milano in the high slot, gets away from him. Neutral zone play, and stepping up now. Team Navy, Wenberg slows it down, dishes to the right wing, head up at all times.
Uh-oh.
He's got great vision on the ice, but a break the other way. In alone, denied.
Well, Tyler Bird left in all alone, had a chance to come in and make the play, and again, a better save.
Well, we're joined here now by assistant coach Craig Hartsburg, who has been observing for the entire week. And Craig, pretty interesting week to say the least.
Second time and see the new ones that we just drafted. It's been an interesting week for all of us.
Now, the situation for this hockey team, we all know a lot accomplished by the Blue Jackets at the NHL level here last season, and certainly opened the eyes of the NHL with a nice nifty shot there going far side. But how about in the system, so to speak? When you look last year, 3 first-round picks who've come back here this year, impressive, worked hard over the last year. You got young Dano, who's spent the entire summer here in Columbus. But in that pipeline, Craig, the future's pretty bright for this franchise.
Oh, definitely, and it's amazing how far it's come in a short time. And when I first came here, there was not a lot of prospects in Springfield, young prospects, anyways, and now they're going to be stacked really down there. They're going to be a bunch of them, and still a bunch back in junior. So it's they've come a long way. The scouting staff and JD and Yarmo have done a great job. Really building this the stable of young players.
Well, Craig, you've had a chance to be on the other side of it when you were coaching junior, watching the development of young guys. You've had a first-hand look as well as that experience, and a week like this really means a lot to these young guys and being able to take that next step.
For sure. There was a time in this league where teams would bring these kids in and just make them battle and grind, and I think what everybody really is doing in the National Hockey League now is trying to educate these young men and what it's going to take to be a pro, what it's going to take to play in the National Hockey League. So they should get a lot out of it, and some of them have done it now for 2 or 3 years. So again, it's an educational process for them, and certainly for the staff to get to know them.
Craig's a very modest individual, but you think back to last training camp and even the development camp last year, on to the Jackets rookie camp and then the main camp, and a young man by the name of Ryan Murray, not expected to make the hockey club, but under your watchful eye, not only did he impress in the 2 camps, but certainly proved over the course of the season that he is ready, NHL ready, and had an outstanding rookie year. Now you look at some of the development here of some of these other young defensemen, and size is the operative word.
Oh, yeah. The Collins kid is huge, and you can see, and he's just a young boy, really. You see, it'd be interesting to see where he's going to be at like 3-4 years from now, but he certainly moves around the ice good for a kid that big, and it'll be he's going to be a real good player for us someday. It's just going to take him some time.
Another guy that stands out, and would be, I believe it may be Mike's 3rd or 4th, but Mike Riley. Great skills, effortless skater. Craig, he certainly has an opportunity to play at the next level.
He's amazing talent in his feet and his hands and his head. He's really, for me, he should be a pro now. He's I don't want to be critical of anybody, but to me he's wasting his time going back to college hockey. He should be a pro, and the sooner he becomes a pro, the sooner he's going to be a National Hockey League player and a star. And
that's the tough thing for some of these guys that, again, want to play professional hockey. Do you go and play 36 games at the collegiate level, or do you go and jump into the American Hockey League or OHL where you're going to play 70-plus games?
Well, I think for most kids it's obviously important to develop and get your education, but Mike, to me, is head and shoulders above probably every kid his age, and for him to go back, he'll get something out of it, but I think he'll get a lot more out of being a pro. He's to me, he's ready to be a pro.
Who's impressed you the most here, having a chance to watch this camp and observe for the last week?
Well, he has, for sure. He's a talented kid, but his work habits and everything, I think, again, we've seen him for a couple summers, but he's gotten bigger, stronger, and he's an elite talent, and it's going to be fun to watch in the next couple of years.
And he'll get an opportunity to help in the development of Collins. They'll both be at the University of Minnesota, and just that comfort level alone, knowing 2 guys part of the organization, is certainly going to help, I think, both of them.
2-on-1 break,
a
nice
great pair
there.
actually, because one great skater, puck handler, and a great big body that should be a good defender. So
we'll see if Donnie Lucia is listening. That'd be a pretty good
Donnie's
pair.
probably not happy with me right now, but my son played for Donnie too, so I know that.
Well, and that's the thing. Again, you're developing hockey players, and there's different routes to go. Some guys need the collegiate level to be able to have 4 years over time.
Well, they've done a great job with him for 2 years. He's come a long ways under their guidance, and again, they've done a good job. But now, for me, it's how fast does he want to be a an NHL hockey player.
How about take a look at some of the forwards, Craig? Guys that stand out, whether he's a number 1 pick or all the way down to some of these 5th, 6th rounders.
There's some real good skill. The Dano kid, Wenberg, both of them are, you can tell they're first-round picks. Kirby Reichel has, again, come a long ways in the year. His skating has improved a lot, and those 3 kids from last year's draft are all got a chance. I don't know if they all can play right away, but they're all going to be good NHL players.
You must be pretty excited about the camp ahead, because you're going to have some decisions to make, because the Jackets have never had the depth that they've got.
Well, and that's how you get better, is your young players come in and challenge for jobs, and if they're ready, then they take those jobs. And that's how the good organizations go. They don't rush them, but when they're ready, they find a spot for them, and they get better. Teams get better when their young players are ready to play.
Haven't had a chance either off the air or on the air to ask you about this, but what are your impressions of former Flyer? And you're, of course, a former Flyer. What are your thoughts on the Jackets picking up Scott Hartnell?
Well, we're really excited. We've seen him enough over the years. As we've seen him last year, what he brings to the table, he'll be a real asset for our hockey club. We're excited to have his energy and his ability to score and compete and play hard.
And I think the biggest key, Craig, he wants to be here.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more players in the league that want to be here now. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago that wasn't the case, but this is a great place, great fans, and a great city. It's a great place to play hockey, and it's a great place to coach.
I'm sure during the course of the summer, we get a lot more engaging fans talk about the Blue Jackets than previous years, just being around.
Well, it's actually fun when you go back even to Canada. Now they actually know who the Blue Jackets are. When I first got the job, they asked me what league it was in. So,
yeah.
But now they know. I've had so many positive comments back home, and a lot of it was to do with the playoff series and the atmosphere in our building. They couldn't believe the crowd, how good it was compared to other places.
And that's the thing that you hear people talking about it. It rings in the ears. Everybody had a great experience this spring. The way you finished and how you can springboard into next year.
Well, we're certainly not taking anything for granted. We know that we've got to come back as a coaching staff and be better than we were last year to start. And the message to the players at the end, that was good, but it's not good enough. And we need to take another step forward right from the start.
Craig, we thank you for this. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and look forward to training camp.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, Craig. You bet.
Craig Hartsburg done an outstanding job with the Blue Jackets, and, of course, the associate coach of the Columbus Hockey Club, and boy, he has a big influence.
You know what? We go back in time, and Jeff, we are that old that we can remember Craig Hartsburg as an 18-year-old kid going in and being in the World Hockey Association, and he was one of the best in the biz. He took a chance. He signed a big pro contract to play in the WHA, and then ends up in Minnesota years after. But he was one of those guys that had a touch and had to really work at being a true pro. And the relationship that he has with his players is second to none. They respect what he's done and where he has been.
What a great pass. Soft hands there from Wenberg, but Oscar Dansk able to turn it aside.
Look at we just coming in here right now.
Oh, he's not coming on. He's just going to sit here and listen to what we have to say. He's enjoying.
He's evaluating.
Watching this. Taking notes. Of course, we're speaking of head coach Todd Richards. We just had a nice visit with Craig Hartsburg. Certainly gave us his thoughts, and great crowd on hand here as the young Blue Jackets on display. And I'll tell you what, it's great crowds all week long.
Yeah, well, look at this shot by Daniel Czar. Again, that had some mustard on it. He just signed a 3-year deal with the Columbus Blue Jackets, so playing their minor league system. And, again, just showing a little bit of worth. A good, heavy shot.
4-2. Navy leading Team White, victorious in the first game against Team Light Blue. And after a short break, here now in the final seconds, it will be Team Light Blue against Team Navy. And ultimately, after the shootout, we will see Team White, their record will fall to 1-1. Team Navy, up 1-0, will take on Team Light Blue, who dropped the decision to Team White, who came from behind to win that initial game by a 6-4 score.
Yeah, back-to-back games. Maybe had a little tiring of the legs. They had a full day today. They just didn't come in here and play 3-on-3 hockey. Is it today, Jeff, that they went out onto the
yes, they're out rowing.
Out rowing on the river, and again, that in itself, that would drain anybody, but all part of the experience that these kids have had a chance to face all week long here in Columbus. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those goals that you'll get a chance to see. Good play here by Moultrie backside in a little drag, snap, and then back door. Again, Team Blue showing their worth. And again, a little flapjack pass backside. Excellent job.
Shooting for Team Navy, number 65, Oliver Bjorkstrand.
Bjorkstrand is a talented player. Certainly knows his way around the net. Good hands, in tight. 50 goals in the regular season last year for him.
Young Bird with a shot, missing the mark. Goaltenders rotate on every shot. Elvis going back in. Where's Leakins? At the other end. This is Oscar Dansk. Oh, tucked home.
Oh, did not get in the net, though. This is an old move that Gordie Howe used to use, except he was a right-handed shot coming in off that left side. Lay that puck out into space.
Mulatto. Up quickly and scores.
Look
Boy,
at those hands in tight.
huh?
You get those hands in tight like that to be able to move it backhand, forehand, just like that. Right on a dime. Look at that. Quickly. And again, he waits for that goaltender to move.
LeBlanc in and deflected wide. Oh, one more word here on Mulatto. Talking to John Davidson, club president, for an interview you'll see on Jackets TV upcoming. He talked about Mulatto, that all he wants to do is be a National Hockey League player. Plain and simple. That is his dream. That is his focus. And he's headed to Boston College in the fall.
Well, and I understand there's still a possibility, Jeff, that he may look the OHL route.
Really?
He was drafted by Plymouth, and to think that he'd like to be able to maybe get a few games under his belt. In talking with some of the staff, some of the scouting staff, that decision is yet to be made. But the commitment, if he is going to go to college, it is to Boston College and Jerry York.
Here's Hannakainen. Missing with the backhand.
Head up, head up, head up. Little heel kick. And then again goes high glove, but to no avail.
Medeski, who scored a nice goal here. This time, thwarted his attempt, looking glove side.
What I like is they all have smiles after either they miss or they score. Did a good job by the goaltender to make that save. Oh,
whoa.
Baby.
5-hole.
Daniel Czar. Again, played in Sweden last year in the second division, 16 goals. Calculated. Beautiful.
Anton Forsberg. Oh, they're waving it off.
What?
Waving it off.
Oh.
Quenneville moving in, fakes the shot, and then sends it home.
A smart play. Again, you get the goaltender to make that move. Now watch the between the 5-hole. Opens up right there. As he makes the fake, that's the sign of a pretty solid goal scorer.
Larkin.
Yeah, beautiful play here by Larkin. Again, a little bit about his past. Again, born and raised in Italy and has represented their country and came across, played collegiate hockey all 4 years at Colgate, where he was a captain of his senior year.
Pelche, not able to put it to the back of the net.
Pelche played his first year in the Quebec League last year for Cape Breton.
Here's one we're waiting to see.
Shooting for Team Navy,
Alexander Wenberg.
number 41.
That's
Scary good.
that is sick. No, that is. Look at the hands again. The illusion. He's above the top of the puck. Give the illusion that he could go either way. Freezes the goaltender, and then one quick move to the backhand. Wow.
7-4 the final. They add a goal for the shootout victory. And Team Navy will now take on Team Light Blue.
That was pretty special, Jeff. I'll tell you what. You look at some of those goals that were scored in the shootout, just shows the skills and the ability. And right now, unlike 10 years ago, nobody would ever work on the breakaways. Nobody would ever work in the shootout. And then once it was implemented into the National Hockey League, the fans love it. They sit, and once it starts, they cheer.
And there is Wenberg putting it home. Is it too much to even suggest that Alexander Wenberg might very well be a Columbus Blue Jacket come opening night against the New York Rangers?
Well, the nice thing is, Jeff, he signed. Again, an entry-level contract for 3 years. Last year, playing 16 goals, playing back overseas and in Sweden. And the key, I think, a guy like that, they want to make sure that he's going to be playing, if he can, in the top 3 lines so that you can utilize that skill and not but he's going to have the opportunity. What is it, 9 to 10 games now? That I don't know if that's changed, but it used to be 9. Once you played your 10th game, you stayed with that team. But I would imagine he'll get a chance to see a lot of those.
He cannot go back to junior. So
right.
So he will play either here or in Springfield.
But
unless he determines that he wants to go back and play in Sweden. But
right.
I would think he'd like to get accustomed to the North American League.
I would think. And I know that's what Jarmo had mentioned. They'd like to be able to keep him in North America this year for the development. Get a chance to play on the smaller ice surface. It's a different game. And then when you look at the physical aspects of that game, too, North American versus the European hockey, the physical aspects, something that he will have to adopt to, no question.
Wenberg backing up. Team Light Blue losing their opening game to Team White. And Team Navy defeating Team White here just a few moments ago. And we are scoreless early on in the first period with a face-off to the left of the Team White cage.
Nice move there by
Team Navy cage.
Nice move there by Marcus Soberg. Again, very skilled offensively. Played in Finlanda last year, and from our understanding this week, Bob Bugner, the coach of the Windsor Spitfires, and Warren Reichel, Kirby Reichel's dad, they came in and spent a little bit of time with Soberg and apparently has signed a contract with the Windsor Spitfires and will remain in the OHL next year.
Well, that was their first look at him. They came in from Windsor in the morning. They wanted to see a young man that their scouts had suggested they draft in the European draft. They selected him and are very excited about what Soberg will do. They have him playing in one of their top 2 lines, a skilled player. They feel they've got, Bobby Bugner telling me, a team that maybe not this year, but next year could again challenge for Memorial Cup. TJ Tynan. Boy, has he improved his skills. Maybe not the biggest player, but boy, he is one crafty young man.
He really is.
Look at that pass. Oh!
You take a look around the National Hockey League and the little players that are having success. You don't have to go any further than our own Cam Atkinson here with the Columbus Blue Jackets out of Boston College, TJ Tynan at Notre Dame. They all have one thing in common. They know how to score goals. They know how to put up points. TJ Tynan had 161 points in 165 collegiate hockey games. And so even as a little player, Jeff, he set a record for the most games played at Notre Dame.
Oh,
not big, but the ability to play.
Speaking of players that really aren't that big in stature, but certainly big when it comes to talent, 65 in Navy, Bjorkstrand. This young man had an outstanding season in Portland playing under Mike Johnson, who coincidentally is leaving Portland as general manager and coach. It is now the head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins, who, by the way, today announced former Blue Jackets assistant Gary Agnew has officially joined their staff. But Bjorkstrand is a tremendously talented young man. And again, the talk here by the Blue Jackets brass is that they are going to work with Bjorkstrand to put on a little bit of weight. He has tremendous skills. Look at this in tight quarters.
Well, again, natural goal scorers, 50 on the year. He led the WHL in goals in the playoffs, and he just has that knack around the net. Not just a goal scorer, he has the ability to create offense as well with his ability to be a playmaker.
And Bjorkstrand also has signed an entry-level contract. Ultimately be determined this fall where he will play his hockey.
Mike Riley. You listen to Craig Hartsburg, boy, was he excited to talk about this man. And he's got the puck right now, just scored a beautiful goal. Look at head up.
Tremendous skater.
Dances on those feet.
All right, Bill, I'll put you on the spot here. Who does he remind you of? And as an NHL defenseman, is there a name that sticks out with his tremendous offensive skills and skating ability?
You know what? I mean, there are a lot. You know who right away he reminds me of was Mark Howe. When Mark Howe played and had the ability to come up the ice, very fluid, had a good release, the ability to score. He could probably play forward if he had to. That, if you go back in time, would be a so-called player long ago. Today, I don't know. You got somebody in mind by the.
No, I was thinking maybe of years gone by, a kid by the name of Housley. Remember him?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Also, American-born, who's now an assistant coach with the Nashville Predators.
Yep.
Tremendously offensive, great skater.
Yeah, another product out of the University of Minnesota as well.
Comparisons being drawn.
Well, Phil Helsley was about as slick as they come. Right out of high school to the Buffalo Sabres as an 18-year-old when he was drafted.
1-0, Team Light Blue leading Navy. We might have a situation here if this score holds up, or at least the lead, of all three teams picking up one win. Teams evenly matched. And again, credit to Bill Zito, one of the assistant general managers of the hockey club.
Way to stay with it. You never skate by the net. And that's a great example of it right there was Lucas Sedlak. You watch him again. Soberg stops by the net, makes his play to the blue of the crease, and then Sedlak just stayed right with it and put that puck away. What a great play.
2-0 for Team Light Blue here against Team Navy.
You know another guy, and we can go, you talk about skills of Mike Riley and another University of Minnesota product. There's our own Todd Richards, who leads the University of Minnesota all-time scoring in points with 155 as a defenseman. Todd was a very fluid offensive defenseman that could move the puck. He also had a little grit to his game, as you can see with his years in the minor pros and a cup of coffee with Montreal.
Hashimoto hanging back, the attempt, looking for that rebound. And the young man out of Japan, very fluid skater. Meantime, Team Navy back into the offensive zone. And again, just a terrific crowd on hand here this afternoon. We've had great crowds all week long, but in particular here for the 3-on-3 tournament, just a great crowd. And again, as we were about to credit Billy Zito, whose whole idea of this format and a fitting conclusion to a great week here at development camp.
Yeah, Billy's done an outstanding job, and in fact, he was here early, making sure that everything was in place. And again, Billy Zito, one of the assistant GMs, pretty good hockey player in his day. Played at University School up in Milwaukee. Played for a coach in high school by the name of Lowell McDonald. If you remember Lowell McDonald.
Absolutely.
He played with Lane and Lowell Jr. with that high school team, and one of the best teams back in Wisconsin in his era. He was the captain of the team when those guys were sophomores and juniors, respectively.
Kirby Reichel, boy, he's put on some weight, improved his skating speed, and there tips home the pass in front. Very nice play.
And that's where he's going to make a living right there, Jeff. Again, off of the post, and you get somebody that can get him the puck. He is a big body. Last year, Dad had to make a tough decision. They traded him out of Windsor, went to Guelph. But look at that finish. Do not get the opportunity to miss a chance to score. You just go to that post, and there he was.
I think all Team Light Blue needed was a warm-up. Because Reichel has just, again, from the slot, fired it home along the ice, and it's a commanding lead for Team Light Blue. Although I should point out, in that first game here this afternoon, as you got to look at the replay.
And look at that. You said it, on the ice. How many goaltenders are looking for that puck to go high? And Kirby kept that thing on the ice, forced the goaltender to play it.
They won't make the mistake here. Team Light Blue not taking the foot off the gas. They led 3-0 in that first game against Team White this afternoon, but saw Team White come from behind. They're not going to allow that here. Oh, nice stop.
Uh-oh.
Nice stop there by Jonas Corposalo on the breakaway.
Yeah.
How about those jerseys?
Yeah, that is gorgeous. And again, just to remind the people back at home, if you have an opportunity to be part of the Ronald McDonald House Golf Outing on Monday, that is being played. Those jerseys will be auctioned off. Not quite sure if it's going to be on a silent auction or a live auction, but they will be autographed and taken to the tournament.
You notice on the back of their jerseys their home country's flag embossed, autographed by all the young kids that are taking part in development camp here this week. That is a great get. You might even be bidding on them in the tournament on Monday.
I would tend to think, again, that tournament is, you have to have some so-called hosts, and it co-hosts with Thad Mata, the basketball coach from Ohio State, and Urban Meyer. They will both be in attendance, and they donate their time to the Ronald McDonald House.
There's some tremendous skill on the ice here right now for Team Navy. That was Bjorkstrand going to the net out there with Wenberg and LeBlanc.
He is fun to watch. Bjorkstrand can get it up and get it going too. One of the things that he wanted to work on again was his lower body strength this week.
Look at Wenberg. He looks like a player. And Bjorkstrand converts on that great soft pass. Great hands displayed there by both.
You want to believe it. Again, goal scorers will get to the net, but you've got to have somebody find it. Look at the head up. The head up, then you look him off, and then right back, knowing where he is. A little saucer pass onto the stick, and that's a no-brainer.
Riley able to come up with that puck along the far wall, and he'll flip it ahead, looking for that break. Moving in from the right wing. Nice stop there. Quenneville. Medeski back at the point. Not afraid to move up. Quenneville. A pretty fluid skater, Bill.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He had some injuries at the beginning of his year last year in college at Quinnipiac, and as I mentioned, just 5 games played. He had to make a decision on where he wanted to go, and Brandon put a lot of pressure on him to leave school, and probably the best thing that ever happened to him. He had a chance to play and put up some big numbers.
Riley moving it on that left wing. Oh, off the shoulder.
I just can't believe the size difference in Michael Riley when he came in
Look
here.
at Reichel with the steal. Moving in. 2 goals, looking for the hat trick. Oh.
Oscar Dansk. Little flip and by, the flyby, and then coming in, he's got a bouncing puck, settles it down, head is up, and then he says, I'm going to, again, put the puck on the ice. That's a pretty good save right there by Oscar Dansk. Those two guys had a chance to see a little bit of each other a year ago, with Oscar being in Erie.
Reichel again. Not too often have we seen in the hockey world where a father will trade his son. That raised a few eyebrows. Warren Reichel, former NHLer in his own right, trading his son to acquire some draft picks that Bobby Gubner was talking about earlier on this week, helps build this team for the future.
And that's it, and you also give your son a chance to win a Memorial Cup. He had a chance to, Kirby Reichel had a chance to watch that Windsor squad. Would they win 2 in a row, Jeff?
Right.
1 year they had.
They were home for one.
Yeah.
Peltier in alone, denied.
Julian Peltier. Cape Breton Screaming Eagles.
A little more than a minute left. A 4-1 lead for Team Light Blue. This is Bjorkstrand again. Out there with Wenberg. We might be seeing a piece of the future for this hockey club, to say the least.
Boy, is he heady. Is he heady and big body. You can see he knows how to protect the puck. Sets a little pick. Puts himself back into position. Never losing sight of the puck the entire time.
Nice.
How many guys would
there.
spin around? He stays right with it.
Corpusalo, no idea where the puck is. Bjorkstrand trying to tuck it home. And 19.2 seconds remain. Team Light Blue about to even their record at 1-1.
Well, Corpusalo was the top junior goaltender back last year in his home country. And you can see right now he's nothing but a snow angel in there. Bjorkstrand, he's sticking around. Wenberg was around. Oh, my.
That will ice it. Soberg.
Marcus Soberg.
You think Bobby Bugner, former Blue Jackets assistant, is going to enjoy watching this young man? Have to tap him on the shoulder and say, get out there,
Yeah,
young man.
I don't think you're going to have to tap. You look down the bench, he'll look at you. Just wave the head. There is some skill.
Pelche. One last attempt here,
There you go.
and it finds the back of the net.
That's what you like to see. No quit. You know, 1.5 seconds left. Yep, you want to play till the end of the game.
Well, it's goal differential that'll
Right.
determine here.
It helps. Goals for.
Two top teams determined by wins and losses with a tiebreaker of goals for and goals against. And that will do it. So all three teams finish 1-1. And Commissioner Zito will now determine from ice level who plays
We
in
should
the
have had the
championship.
commissioner on. We needed to chat with him.
Maybe we'll get him on here at some point during the final.
We just got word that if the shootout is tied and it ends up tying everything up, it's rock, paper, scissors from what we're hearing. I can't imagine that Billy Zito would have that. I think it'll be some kind of a hockey play.
Or maybe a coin toss.
Oh, boy.
All
Well,
right.
I'll tell you what, it is fun to watch. Again, no offsides. It's all skill, great hands, the ability to move the puck around, Jeff. And, you look. We mentioned, we had and here's an opportunity. Soberg shows his ability as a playmaker to go backdoor. And again, Reichel driving to the net. Big body. But looks just like his dad, though.
I think he's got a little more offensive talent than his dad.
I just said he looks like his dad.
His dad was.
Didn't say anything about his skill level.
He was a policeman on the NHL teams that he played for. One tough guy.
12-year pro. Yeah, he was. Warren does an excellent job with that organization. When they bought that team, Bobby Bugner and Warren Reichel, they did an outstanding job of being able to put a team on the ice that certainly showed to be Canada's best for a couple of years in the Memorial Cup. There's a look at LeBlanc.
Hashimoto now moving in off the wing and denied.
Third year playing at a team called Ochi in the Asian League.
Moultrie stopped as well. Ambrose will step out.
Shooting for Team Light Blue, Seth Ambrose.
Whew.
Good move. Better save. Seth Ambrose, University of Minnesota as well.
Here comes Pelche at the opposite end, off the glove and on the play.
His first year junior, you put up some numbers, 25 goals in the Quebec League. He'll build on that this year.
There's Leakins in goal.
Here we go.
TJ Tynan denied by Elvis.
Well, right now that you can see the ice starting to snow up a little bit. That puck slowing down just a hair.
Watch this guy. Coming now, quickly. Alexander Wenberg. And he finds the 5-hole.
Well, he's done it both ways. He's had the deke, and this time with the head up, left-handed shot down that side. Watch just the positioning through the 5-hole. Beautiful goal by Wenberg.
These fans in attendance well aware of Wenberg, and he has become a fan favorite here as this week has gone on. And there's no doubt a lot of folks will be pulling for Wenberg to make this hockey club out of camp.
Yeah, and there's Ryan Collins. Again, he'll make his way to the University of Minnesota.
Bjorkstrand at the other end, and he
5-hole.
finds the back of the net. Team Navy victorious. And I would think, as Riley steps up.
Oh, boy. $5-4 right now on the board, Jeff.
Quenneville waiting for the word and gets it.
Oh. That's had something on it. Well, that's a huge goal. That ties it up. High blocker up underneath the crossbar. Top shelf.
Here's Sedlak. Whoa.
Boy. I mean, that last move, you watch the blue of the crease. Watch his stick. Again, backhand, forehand, right at the top of that crease. Dylan Hetherington out of Swift Current. And he is one big body as well.
Some trash talking going on after that attempt at ice level.
Now look at the skills.
Here comes Reichel.
Again, you go back in time, you would never think of guys doing this stuff in a breakaway at all, but that's the way the game has changed. It is entertainment.
So
team light blue wins the game. And now we will have a very fair, competitive way to solve the tie.
well, we're going to a tiebreaker.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Goals for and goals against. The crowd here are on their feet. Awaiting word from Commissioner Zito as to how he determines. The rules are being changed as we speak. A sudden death shootout will determine the champion of the Blue Jackets 3-on-3 tournament.
So that means they score. The other team scores. They keep going, keep missing. They continue to go until one team wins it all. Sudden victory or instant death.
Sudden death shootout.
You look around the rink.
Take a look. Milano's going to be the first shooter. Huh,
Well,
that's not very surprising. Team White employing Milano, the Jackets' first-round draft pick in Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago, out of Long Island, and here comes Milano. Milano, backhander.
Beautiful move again. Forehand to the backhand, coming right down to the middle of the ice. Columbus Blue Jackets, Artem Anisimov. That's the move that Artem loves to use in tight.
Sedlak must score. Sedlak coming quickly, fires a shot along the ice, and it is denied. So Team White is victorious on the goal by Milano, who certainly had an impressive afternoon here in this shootout, Bill.
Well, it certainly was, and he is something to certainly behold with the skills that he has. And I like the comment that you had and you talked about, Jeff, was he is one young man right now that he loves to be in the arena. He is what we call a rink rat. First there, last guy to leave, always working on his hands, working on things, but he knows what he has to do this year in getting stronger. This camp is going to be certainly a benefit to a young guy like him.
So now, after this Milano sudden death shootout victory, we will have the championship game. So the rules are changing here as we continue.
Look at the snow on the ice as well. It doesn't stop him.
So it is Team White against Team Navy.
Tell you what, the camera work today by the gentlemen, outstanding job. They have not missed a thing. 3-on-3 hockey, open hockey. Nice play right there. He's had one heck of a day. Some good offense as well.
Yes, he has.
Thomas Larkin.
And hustles back to the bench. Fresh legs come on.
That right-handed shot come off of that wing and fires it high over top of the glove.
Wenberg. Bjorkstrand ripping it high and wide of the net. Again, the skill here on the ice. A good look at the future of this Blue Jackets hockey club.
Well, they've had a chance to work on every aspect of not only the game of hockey, but all body parts, and that's mind and body alike. We had financial planners come in and talk. They learned how to cook. They were out on the river today in a little bit of crew. And these are experiences that they'll certainly never forget. But the number one thing is to prepare them accordingly.
Oh, what a shot by Bjorkstrand.
Is he smooth or what? Just effortlessly as he comes across that blue line. He just lays the blade of that puck, that stick open, and that puck finds its way. And this is another look at it coming in. Gives a little toe, and then up high on that blocker side. Beautiful.
One the score. The championship game of this 3-on-3 tournament. Quenneville now fires. And it is out of play. How about that? There's a first. I've never seen that here in the ice house. A puck that actually stays up against the glass on the far side. Well, man responsible for putting together this 3-on-3 tournament, none other than Commissioner Bill Zito, Jackets assistant general manager.
Chris Clark did all the work. He did everything.
I think you had a hand in it. You're being very modest here.
No, I'm telling you the truth.
Well, what are your thoughts here this afternoon?
Well, we're learning. We're learning.
We've made a couple of moves along the way here. We've adjusting the rules as we go along this afternoon.
That's part of the plan. Hopefully the kids are having fun. It's such a nice group of young players and really nice people. And we had a nice talk with them before the game, and they were excited to go out and have some fun and just sort of play hockey on the pond.
You know, and that's what's fun to watch, Billy, is you look at the smiles. Everybody's got a smile on their face. They're playing the game that they love. They're working hard, and that's half the battle, is to be able to enjoy this game for what it is.
Yeah, and we told them we're not evaluating you, but we are, and the evaluation that takes place is the character and their enthusiasm and whether they can come out and participate in a thing like this and have fun but still try hard. So from that standpoint, it's been a great success. The ice is getting a little heavy, but we weren't really sure. Until you do it, you don't really know. And some of the 3-on-3s I've been a part of in the past had a couple of different formats, but this one seems to be working. I think the fans are having fun.
Oh, the fans are enjoying this immensely. And how about the skill that's on display here?
It's fantastic. And there goes Sonny Milano now, but it's fun when you can encourage the players to think outside the box a little bit, because we are so regimented and so focused on managing pucks when we play that there really isn't that much left in advanced high-end hockey where you can go out in a competitive nature play like this.
But it's been all encompassing. It hasn't just been on the ice. It's been off ice. It's been today. Tell us about this morning and the players getting involved in a little competition even before hitting the ice.
Well, I actually wasn't there, but I understand they went. They had a rowing. I think is it eight-man crew.
Yeah.
And anyone who's ever been in a crew boat knows you have to be in sync and you have to be team members or the boat's going nowhere. So it was a little bit of a cooperation, team building, being part of a team, of selflessness. So there were a lot of lessons to learn. But I guess they just had a great time. And I know Ryan Murray went, and I think Boone Jenner wanted to go, but had to do something medically or for his trainings and wasn't able to do it. But it's another nice part of this. All the guys seem to get along very well with each other, and seem to enjoy each other's company.
And Billy, tonight you cap it off. You have a dinner, and then tomorrow, what brings for each and every one of these kids?
Tomorrow we're going to meet with them in the morning and sort of not so much an evaluation, but just discuss the camp, what they thought, what their goals are for the year, what their goals are long term, how they think they're going to get there, what they need to do to meet those goals, how we can help them, and where we see them, where their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and just sort of an overview of where they are, where they're going, and how are they going to get there.
Personally for you, and you've been involved in these camps prior to this year, what's impressed you most about the group?
Trying to think of the right words to use. I don't want to use selflessness. It just seems like a high-character group of young men who are a little more mature than I would have thought. They seem to interact. They seem to be responsible, considerate of others. They enjoy each other. They want to work hard. I can't speak enough about how impressed I am with the group character.
Well, that's awfully important because now you're not only drafting for skill, you're not only drafting for size, but you're drafting in some cases, and we've heard it right through the National Hockey League, you're drafting for character. That's
Absolutely.
as important as anything.
Well, look at the success that we had this year. It wouldn't have come without a close personal dynamic between and among the core of our players. And when you're going to add to it, you can't just add skill. You have to add someone who's going to be a piece of it and be a part of it, and who's going to be welcomed into that group and want to be a part of it and respect it.
And that's how you build an organization right now, Billy. Again, you've gone through the draft and you look at the skill and the ability of these young kids, and the key now, give them time.
That would be the plan. Yeah, and you hope. But you know what? If a Boone Jenner shows up and he's ready, he's ready. Mm-hmm. And if they're not, then help them get better. And there's certainly enough, as you can see, skill on display that the hope is that every player is going to take their own learning curve. To be able to address that learning curve on an individual basis without having to push someone, but at the same time being able to allow the person who's ready, that it works perfectly, and I think we're built to progress in that fashion.
When Club President John Davidson joined the club, his first news conference, he came out with the slogan, "It's one brick at a time." I talked to him about that today in an interview that we conducted that will be on Jackets TV here in the not-too-distant future, and I asked him, is it still one brick at a time? No, it's now bricks at a time, and that's pretty evident here this week.
Yeah, well, you hope so. It's of course, you never know until the fall, until we start playing, but from everything that you see, and if history teaches it all, everyone, I think, is very pleased with this group, both on and off the ice.
Billy, what's the plan right now for hockey ops for the rest of the summer? What's your plan? Are you guys? I know you've been working hard since the end of the season until now. Do you get a little breath of fresh air to be able to get away, or no?
This is my first time through it, so I'm not really sure. I know that I have the projects that I'm working on, and I know that as a collectively as a group, we're planning. The one area that I didn't appreciate the amount of effort that goes into is the scouting side. You think, well, you scout during the season, and in the off season you're off, but you're doing reports and preparing and planning and scheduling. So it really is it's it's a considerable effort, one that I hadn't fully appreciated on the agent side.
Nice shot there. I'll give you a little tip here, talking about scouting. Great story here this week with young Hashimoto coming over from Japan. And I asked the general manager here in one of the previous games this afternoon if he would plan on, with the scouting staff expanding, perhaps have a scout assigned to Japan in the future. Well, he's already set his sights on the Caribbean. So you may want to talk to him about that, thinking that maybe during the winter that he might have to scout some young potential Blue Jackets in the Caribbean. You may want to put the dibs in on that one.
I don't want to take a shot at you.
But you
However,
will.
No, but and there's some truth to this, that I am aware of discussions among people of means who would see someday Havana as a choice for an NHL city. Their ideology, their thinking is, if you go back to the bygone era where Havana was a place populated by a lot of Americans as tourists,
right?
That its location makes sense at its size, and it would, so someday. I was going to say the shot was going to be when you used to go there, but that's all right.
I've never been there in my life. Now, I've stood on the very end point in Key West looking over to Havana, but I've never been there. I'll wait until you go, and you can come back and tell me what it's like.
All right.
Well, let's let that go then. So, in other words, the rest of the summer is still up in the air, Billy, as far as
no, I think we're doing the schedule. We're preparing for training camp. We're putting together the scouting schedule, putting together the team travel schedule, looking at the contracts, doing long-term projections, dealing with everything from long-term insurance to buses and flights and meals.
Not a day goes
scouting
by.
coverage, tournaments, who's going where and when.
Right. Have you enjoyed this part of the business coming over from the agent side?
Oh, immensely. I really have.
A little more rewarding, besides the money, of course.
Different. It's a different kind of reward.
As an agent, you're really part of. You're an individual. Here, you're part of a team.
You're part of a team. Yes, you're part of a team. You feel like you're part of something. You have the wins and losses. You come to the rink every day. You want to win, and you feel like you're part of a hockey establishment. On the agent side, it's for me, it had become a little bit more just business, and the new CBA and sort of the way the agent business is working now, it's becoming, I think, more dominated by the larger agencies.
Right.
So for me, on a personal level, it was the right thing to do.
5-4 hockey game.
The best way to describe it was when Boston won the Stanley Cup in Vancouver, Game 7. I went and I was waiting in the hallway underneath, and all the people were out on the ice, and I was going to wait for the guys to come off, and Tim Thomas came and walked along the concrete on his skates and found me and said, "I'm not going out there without you. We've been together 15 years waiting for this."
Isn't that great?
So we go out on center ice, and of course we're all crying, and it was a big moment and hugging. And I also looked after Tuukka Rask, and he was there laughing at us. "You guys are dorks." And we had I was so proud and so happy. And then they turned around and they took the cup and they went with the team. And I was standing there by myself. and you're not a part of it.
Right.
And I went, and I'll never forget it. I took the subway to the suburbs because they were worried about riots in Vancouver, and I went to the airport and got on the red eye and just kind of sat on the plane like, you're not a part of it.
So your
now
goal,
I am, so I'm thrilled.
So your goal here is to bring the Stanley Cup to Columbus and be part of it.
That would be wonderful.
Wouldn't it?
That would be something.
And you're doing it the right way. This organization, certainly. You look at the depth. You think back to early development camps, and nowhere near the talent and the skill or the size that we see here for this camp.
Well, you go back to 2000, Billy. Again, we had one draft. We had 9 players, and the rest were all invites.
Yeah.
And now you look at all your draft picks over the last 3 to 4 years. Your number 1 picks are in here, and you can certainly see the skill ability. And like I say, brick by brick, well, it's bricks. And they're all here right now, and they're showing their worth.
Yeah, it's certainly it's an exciting time, and I would think, too, as a fan, it's exciting to know that on the horizon there's there's more pieces coming, and we have a little bit of a luxury now to bring them at the right pace. And let's not forget the group that's already here.
Blue
It's
Jackets.
an exciting.
Navy.
Oh, what a save.
5-4. There was the tying goal right there. What a stop.
30 seconds to go.
Now I think that the overtime shootout counts also, so the game might
Okay.
not be
Not
lost
over till
here.
it's over.
You set
Right.
the rules, so
Yeah,
it's
I
not
don't know.
that's why we brought you in
it's,
here.
No,
This
that's
is-
why we wanted you on.
We can change the rules right now if you want. We'll see.
And how about the jerseys being donated to the Ronald McDonald House
That's
golf
great.
outing? Isn't
So
that special?
What the people don't know is that on Monday, the guys went over there and took the jerseys and helped the kids. They decorated them, and it was a great time, and it learned a lot about our guys through that experience. And we're very, very fortunate to have been able to do it.
So here we go. There is a shootout here now, too. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
All right.
You notice the fans are not leaving, so they've been well informed ahead of time, Jeff. It's just you and I struggling with the rules.
Well,
Well,
the changes.
The rules, and they're you don't know. Maybe if we need to adjust them, we will.
You're going to adjust them. It ain't over until the fat lady sings.
Look at this save. Again, you had
Wow.
beautiful.
A game-saving stop, but that's not where it ends. And now the final shootout.
Oh, the snow. A little bit of snow down in front. You can see it.
We've got instant replay on the webcam.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, isn't this something? This is
Yeah.
pretty
This is
special.
big time.
Now, is Jody watching us?
Who's that?
Jody Shelley?
Jody Shelley. Jody
He works
Shelley.
here.
Well, he's in
Is he on
Yarmouth,
vacation?
Nova Scotia.
He's on his way back home. Had him beat.
I'm
I
sure
don't
he's
know.
glued in, though.
I'm thinking, I'm not sure if I'm handling the puck on my break.
No.
No.
Again,
I might
you
just rip it.
watched the first couple, Billy, and they were all shots. Let's see what Medeski does here. What a comeback this guy's had after his injuries. To
Yeah.
be able to be back and one strong boy.
Medeski
There it
moving
is.
in.
Ooh.
And the goaltenders certainly have the advantage here with the ice as snowy as it is. Czar will come now, the right-handed shooting. Jackets prospect.
Oh, he opened him up. Again, what they're looking for right there, a good stick by the goaltender, be able to take away the lower portion, and in that case, the 5-hole.
Montre denied.
One good physical player, Billy, eh?
Yeah, outstanding.
He has to play big if he's going to be successful, is the word.
Oh, maybe Larkin will kick it again.
Oh,
We had an internal prize for the most creative.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he might get it even though he didn't score.
Hetherington.
Whoa.
There's the
Beauty.
first goal.
yeah. Again, it looked like he tried to go back the other
If this
way.
game finishes at 6 p.m. on the dot, Chris Clark will be in his glory. He has it timed down to the minute.
Does he really?
Yeah.
That's that Clarkson education.
Oh,
Again, left-handed shot, pulls it to the backhand. Good happy feet.
how impressive
into
a
the
week
ball.
as this young man had. Wenberg coming in off the wing. Hangs on.
Almost.
He's become a fan favorite in a hurry, I'll tell you that.
Boys, he is something special to be able to watch this guy in person.
Yeah.
He really is smooth, sees the ice, good hands, good quick release. Looks like he can protect the puck as well, Billy. I mean, he's got it all.
Who's shown the most personality here this week?
Actually, he has a lot of personality. I don't know if I'm the right guy to answer because I haven't been in the mix. Chris Clark might know. For me, they were all they were so good when we went to see the kids. I don't I apologize for not being able to answer that, Jeff, but I'm.
Yeah, it's one of those.
The goalies actually were all when they the kids were doing the jerseys and the Swedes took the Korpisalo's jersey and started telling the kids to draw a Swedish flag on it, and then it started. And so maybe Oscar.
There
Gans.
You go.
Yeah.
All right, here's Milano.
Oh, here we go.
Talk about creativity. Look at this.
Whoa!
Almost had it. Look at his pads. Now, this is a real hockey player. Take a look at the socks after he's done on his right leg. No garter belt to pull those socks up. It's strictly tape.
It's over.
It's over. Team Blue.
Team Blue.
Wow.
Team Navy.
5:58.
Well, I thank you guys.
Hey,
Thank
Billy,
you.
great job. This was a lot of fun, and I know the fans certainly enjoyed it as well.
Good.
Good to be part of it.
Great job, bud.
See you, man.
Can't wait for next year.
Well, Rims, pretty special.
Now, we're used to calling them Team Blue, and on the program they're called Team Blue, but we here tonight for television purposes with light blue and dark blue have called them Team Navy, but the end result, call them what you want. Team Blue, Team Navy, they are victorious.
Yeah, pretty good hockey team when you look at Bjorkstrand, Hetherington, LeBlanc, Medeski, Motry, Peltier, Quenneville, and the number 1 pick from a year ago, Alexander Wenberg.
And the fans giving this young Jacket Hockey Club and players of the future a standing ovation, and it's well deserved. Well, we thank you for joining us here on Jackets TV. A great afternoon, and we look forward to training camp, certainly rookie camp first. And before you know it, the Jackets will open the season against none other than the defending Eastern Conference champion New York Rangers.
Well, it's going to be here before you know it. And well, have a great rest of the summer, Rims, and we'll get a chance to see you in the fall.
All right, for Bill Davidge, I'm Jeff Rimmer. Thanks for joining us on Jackets TV.